Hi researchers! Welcome to today's lesson, Evaluating Websites. As you've already learned, anyone with a computer and an internet connection can publish on the web, including Miss Aldridge. That means that it's up to you to be a savvy researcher to determine which sites are credible. Remember, being credible means that your information is true and reliable, and it's worth your time for your research. So let's take a look at criteria for evaluating websites. Some criteria for evaluating websites includes who wrote or published the information on the site. Anybody can publish on the web, so it's important that you first identify the source. Who is the author or the publisher? Is that source clearly identified on the site? Can you contact the author through an email, phone number, or a mailing address? And then what are the author's credentials? Is that person an expert in the subject that you're researching? And then, is the site created or sponsored by a reputable organization? Can you confirm that the organization is credible and a very true source of information? Yesterday on the Tree Octopus website, it told us who the author and publisher was. It had a contact through an email, phone number, and a mailing address. But as far as the author's credentials were concerned, there were some questionable things. And then most of you found out that the site was created or sponsored by him as a hoax. So you can confirm that the organization is credible and that the author is credible. Number 2, what information and resources does the site provide? The information you find on a website does not necessarily pass through the hands of editors, fact checkers, or reviewers. So it's up to you to determine the value of the site's content and presentation. You've got to ask yourself, what's the site's purpose? Is it meaning to persuade you, inform you, or entertain you? Is the information on the site objective or is it biased? The site should present several authoritative viewpoints on the subject and not just one person's opinion. Does the site provide thorough coverage of the topic? Is the information on the site well written? Does the site provide a works cited page or bibliography? Those works cited or bibliography show that the author consulted another reliable, thorough, and objective resource. Does the site feature graphics, video, and audio clips or animations? And do they help explain or clarify the site's topic? Do they look reliable? The next thing you want to ask is about navigation and presentation. If the site is well organized and easy to navigate, is the site visually appealing? Does the design suit the overall purpose? Are multimedia elements used for a specific purpose, or do they distract you? And does the site have any ads or banners that might distract you from the purpose of your visit? And does the site take a long time to load? Sometimes those issues might indicate that it's not a resource or a site that's worth spending your time on. Another question that you want to ask for the criteria for evaluating website is, when was the site created or last updated? So, if you have a topic that's time sensitive, in other words, it's important that you locate the most current up-to-date resources, then you have to ask yourself, does the site tell you when it was first created and last updated? If you are looking for your current events for your state, then you want to make sure that your current events are within the past month or so. If you find a website that gives events that happened in Alabama in 1999, that's not a current event. That's more than 10 years ago. So you want to find a site that tells you updated information. Okay? Number 4, where does the site live? Now this one's pretty interesting because what this does, it has you look closely at the site's URL. The URL is that specific extension found in the web address. For instance, in the address www.archives.gov, the extension is .gov. Sometimes that extension can give you clues about the source of the site you're viewing. Take a look at this box. This table tells you an extension example and then tells you what source it is. Now, .gov is typically government agency. .edu is an educational institution. .org is an organization, not always, but most of the time, a nonprofit, which means they're not trying to make money off of you. .com is usually a commercial business or a personal website like lauraaldridge.com. And .mil is military. Now, a site with the .gov extension signals a government agency and probably has reliable and trustworthy information. However, it can be harder to determine whether sites with .edu, .org, or .com extensions are quality ones. For example, the EDU extension indicates that a site is associated with an educational institution, but it doesn't tell you whether it's the official site of the history department or one created by a first-year student. Remember, looking at the URL's extension can uncover clues about the quality of the site, but it does not tell you the whole story. So, let's keep going. The fifth question is, why should I use this site? Evaluating the credibility, the thoroughness, the accuracy, currency, which means how up-to-date it is, and presentation of a website will help you determine whether to use that site for your own research. Some of the questions that you can ask yourself are, do the resources on this site meet all my needs? Is the information verifiable, which means you can check it at another source? Is it in-depth, and is it up-to-date? Another question you can ask yourself is, why is this website a better research source than some of the other sites I've already visited?